Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy. Today, I want to talk call Anie with Maya conversation.
Hey, what's new?
My question: what does the expression show me?
That's a fascinating question. Can you tell me what expression you're thinking about?
Why do humans use sound instead of word to ask for silence?
That's a really insightful observation. What kind of work are you noticing them do when they're asking for silence?
What does the expression show me?
You keep asking, what does the expression show me? Can you clarify which expression you're referring to? I want to make sure I understand what you mean.
Why do humans use sound instead of word to ask for silence?
That's a really interesting question about nonverbal cues. When you say sound instead of words, are you thinking about specific sounds like size or a specific tone of voice or something else?
When do people usually say "shah"?
Shops? I think I'm missing what you mean by these shops. What kinds of shops are you thinking about when people use sound instead of words? Are we talking about physical stores or something else entirely?
How old is the use of "shah" as comment?
I'm having trouble understanding what you're asking. Could you try rewording that? Caught something about rules and shake, but the rest isn't clear. Is it about specific traditions or protocols?
Did ancient civilizations use similar sound for silence?
That's a cool idea. Yeah, there's actually some evidence of similar nonverbal cues across cultures. In ancient Egypt, for example, there are depictions of people covering their mouths as a way to show reverence or quiet contemplation, kind of like asking for silence without words. And archaeologists have found ancient musical instruments like shell horns that were used for signaling calm or signaling pauses during rituals. Of course, what those specific sounds meant would have been pretty different contextually from what we might do today. What got you thinking about ancient civilizations and silence?
Why is the sheer sound effect it making people quit?
I'm not sure what you mean by share sound effect. Could you clarify what sound you're referring to? Are we talking about a specific sound used when someone quits something or asked to leave?
Why is the sheer sound effect is making people quit?
Are you thinking of that sort of whoosh or notification sound that happens when someone shares something or an announcement goes out? Hmm, that's a really interesting question. Could be that it's become associated with change or disruption. So when it happens, people feel like their attention is being pulled away from something they want to stay focused on. Or maybe it's just that unexpected sounds can be jarring when someone's trying to concentrate and get into a flow state. Does that sound right? Or were you thinking about a different sound effect entirely?
When do people usually say "shah"?
Hmm, I'm a bit confused. What specifically are these that people shove when they use them? Sounds like you might be talking about an action or behavior, but I'm not sure what it is. Could you give me more context?
Is how does people language support the use of
That's a big
sham?
thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Um,
Uh, can Shah be polite, or do you explain how does body language support the use of culture?
I think you might be asking how body language and culture connect. Is that right? Body language doesn't really support culture, but it's deeply woven into it. Cultures develop specific ways of expressing emotions, respecting boundaries, or showing deference through gestures, facial expressions, and even things like personal space. For example, eye contact is considered respectful in some cultures and direct defiance in others. That's culture shaping how body language works. And does that get at what you're curious about?
Uh, how can
Gotcha.
Shah be? How has the meaning of Shah changed over time?
I'm hearing the name Shia, but I think there might be some confusion there. Shia is actually a major branch of Islam, originally originating from a political disagreement over who should succeed Muhammad after his death in the 7th century. The word itself comes from the Arabic Shia, meaning followers, specifically followers of Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son in law. The movement really solidified centuries later as Sunni versus Shia Islam became distinct theological and political groups. Is that what you were curious about?
Why do you think Shah is still commonly used today?
Uh, uh,
Give me more detail.
even more than what? You said even more than what are we comparing?
How how is Shah used in movies and storytelling?
You keep mentioning she. Could you clarify who you're referring to? I'm not quite sure who she is in this context. Are you talking about a specific character from a movie or book?
Shah, how is Shah used in movies and storytelling?
I think you might mean shame instead of shy. When I hear shame, here's what I think. It's a hugely powerful tool in storytelling because it taps into some really raw human emotions like guilt, regret, and the fear of being judged. You can tell a lot about a character just by how they react to shame or how they try to avoid it. Movies use shame as a driver for conflict too. Think about characters who mess up or keep secrets. What kind of storytelling were you thinking about when you asked?
More detail.
Oh, you're wanting me to elaborate on how shame shows up in movies? It's really versatile. Sometimes it's subtle, like the way a character avoids eye contact, shows humility after failure, or has low self esteem and believes that they're flawed. Other times it's dramatic, public shaming as punishment in ancient stories, betrayal leading to characters hiding their shame through elaborate schemes, or being ostracized. What kinds of films did you have in mind? Because shame comes up everywhere.
How has meaning of Shah changed over time? Can Shah be polite,
Okay,
or
so you're
do you explain?
um I'm hearing some fragments there. I it sounds like you're asking me to explain something about putting something on the blue. Can you try to say that more clearly for me? I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Okay, thank you, Maya.
You're welcome.